And interestingly, I also learned in real time, in a real-time manner, the other big lesson about trauma. That sometimes the invalidating, not sometimes, all the time, the invalidating, minimizing, gaslighting responses or frank lies we face after a trauma might feel worse than the trauma itself. People saying things to you like, oh, is it really that bad? Which then leads us to doubt ourselves and our reactions and wondering, maybe I'm making too big a deal about this. After the trauma happens to us, people say ridiculous, invalidating stuff like, well, I didn't intend for that bad thing to happen to you, or we've never had anything like that happen before, or people just don't give you the assistance you need or disappear when you need their help and you become an inconvenience. It's as though that the unwillingness of other people to see you after that trauma magnifies the lack of safety and it etches the trauma in more deeply. The world feels far less safe. And I actually had a unique experience because while the initial response after one of these traumas was deeply invalidating and gaslighting and minimizing, a note to everyone, please stop asking everyone to tell their trauma stories over and over again so you can validate whether the person who experienced the bad thing actually deserves to be upset. Nobody wants to be upset. If someone said something bad happened to them, hold space for it and don't question it. Just something we all need to be aware of. You really figure out who and what the safe spaces are, and the places I would traditionally go and often get burned, I now don't. But as with so many things, that rock bottom took me seeing the dynamics in a really intense, concentrated manner, to go from supply to discard in 6 hours flat, to be smiled at politely and not helped while I was having a real issue, for people to stare at me blankly when I told them about the terrible thing that happened and think I was insane. Something sort of quietly snapped, broke inside of me. We cannot wait for people to have disasters and physically harmful experiences happen to them, which risk their health and lives to get here. Here's the difference, and this was the light bulb aha moment that I had. These weren't the first scary, dangerous things that have ever happened to me. I've had a few bad things happen much earlier in my life, but I didn't have this narcissism framework. Nobody did. And so I didn't get it earlier in life. But the getting it, the knowing what narcissism and gaslighting and invalidation and cognitive dissonance and enabling and denial, what all of it are, then when the bad things happened, you may actually have the framework to see it clearly. Again, it's like glasses. Without wearing the glasses, things are blurry. But having the framework to see it for what it is, that may be what it takes to start to see everything a lot more clearly. And if you are in a narcissistic relationship or healing from one, then you are getting small reminders all the time. Write them down. Sketch out the patterns because the data is there. But going along with stuff that doesn't feel right, no. And finding my loud no, good. So as I go forward, I'll be polite. I love manners and politeness. And I'll be polite as I say no. And I may lose people, and I may lose that perception of easy breezy Ramani. But I hope this is a lesson for other people because I'm going through it now. All of us need to think about what it means to live in a new identity when we don't engage in these toxic dances and potentially being called demanding or needy or entitled or even selfish for saying, no, I'm not going to do that. New memories now, painful memories, have overwritten my old patterns. Let's see how long this lasts. So far, so good. The nightmares are going to fade. And because I keep saying no, I'm going to have more time on my hands. We survivors of narcissistic relationships, we care too much about what other people think about us because that was so crucial to maintaining attachments. Because that forever shifting sand of the relationship, not being consistently loved or being transactionally loved, that made us into pleasing machines. I hope that you don't let it get to the place I let it get to and circumstance let it get to. Pay attention and remember, unless you fully subjugate to the convenient reality of not only the narcissist, but also the enablers, people may always see you as the problem because it allows other people the luxury of keeping their unrealistic reality going. That is not your responsibility. Find your no, take your time, listen to your body, and be okay with other people having their own narrative about you because you don't give in. And then pay attention to their responses. Antagonistic and enabling people usually teach us they are harmful twice. First, they put us in danger, and then they leave us in danger. It's uncomfortable to integrate those truths, but you gotta do it, please. Because I'm telling you, I didn't, and I am paying for it.